The faithful queue up for security checks before entering the mosque to offer prayer on the holy day of Eid al-Fitr. Security checks and frisking are a way of life in Kabul these days. Streets and highways of Afghanistan dotted with armed Taliban guards who stop people and check them, interrogate them, but rarely capture them.
मेरा काम बस ये पेरा यहाँ पर होता है कभी
चेक पॉइंट, ये तो चेक पॉइंट है।
हाँ,
चेक पॉइंट पे क्या काम करते हैं आप?
बस ये मोटर से तलाशी करते हैं, लोगों से बातचीत करता है, कैसे रोजा ठीक ठाक हो सब यही पूछते हैं बस, और तंग नहीं करते, बस सिर्फ निज़ामी चीज़ वगैरह जो इसके पास होते हैं हम इससे लेते हैं, वापस इसको रुख्सत करते हैं।
तो तंग किसी को नहीं करना है?
ना,
ये ऊपर से ऑर्डर है मतलब?
हाँ, ऊपर से ऑर्डर है तलबा का। ये दर्स हमें मदरसे में देता है कि आवाम से ज़्यादा तंग नहीं करना ना। ये जो आवाम आते हैं हम इससे ज़्यादा तंग नहीं करते, जो निज़ामी चीज़ इसके पास होते हैं हम सिर्फ इससे लेते हैं, ज़्यादा इससे सज़ा वगैरह नहीं देते, तंग नहीं करते।
अक्सर औकात झूठ बोल रहा है, झूठ है इस बात। जो हकीकत है वो उस बोलने के बहुत फ़ायदा है लोग के लिए। हकीकत जो सच है वो बताए, हम तालिब नहीं है लेकिन ना इससे डर रही है। लेकिन बात यह कि मुल्क हमारे, अगर हम झूठ बोले तो उसका सदमा पास हमारे वतन के हमारे लोग पर पहुंच सकते हैं। बात यह है कि डर है क्योंकि ये लोग जो है इसका नुकसान ये है अभी हर जगह पर तलाशी है, हर जगह पर तलाशी के लिए इतना ज्यादा तलाशी आम लोग पर ये अच्छा नहीं है।
It's been nearly 9 months since the United States left and the Taliban took over reigning control and it became the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. Thousands desperately tried to flee their homeland. Afraid of Taliban rule, they risked their lives. Parents threw their infants into the crowd, hoping the child gets a berth on departing US flights and a chance to live a better life outside Afghanistan. Afghans died in stampedes standing outside the Kabul International Airport in a hopeless attempt to enter it and then board a foreign flight to wherever in the world, but anywhere but Afghanistan. They died in bomb explosions. Their dismembered bodies strewn across the streets were testimony of the pathetic doom that Afghanistan was sinking into in August 2021. The Kabul airport today is clean and nearly empty. Gone are the chaos and crowds from 9 months ago.
आम दिनों में जुम्मे में अभी तो ईद भी करीब है, 3-4 दिन बाद ईद है, तो आम दिनों में 15 अगस्त से पहले अगर आप होते तो शायद इधर आपको पार्किंग के लिए जगह भी ना मिलता। पिछले साल जी। अभी 15 अगस्त के बाद ये हालात है, देखा अभी पार्किंग बिल्कुल खाली है।
Afghanistan has signed a contract with Qatar for maintenance and operation of the Kabul airport, but full operation is yet to happen. The traffic has dropped by nearly 80% to what it was in July 2021.
बदला तो तकरीबन रश है वो तकरीबन 80% कम हुआ है एयरपोर्ट में। फिलहाल आप देख लें, ना मुसाफिर है, ना और कुछ, ना फ्लाइट्स आ रहे हैं ना जा रहे हैं। 1-2 फ्लाइट है जो आज मेरा हाल है, एक जिद्दा का फ्लाइट है और एक कहीं और का। तो सुबह रश था, सुबह कुछ रश था, लोग अच्छा था, लेकिन अभी फिलहाल जो हालात वो आपके सामने ही है।
No one in the world can forget the images of the international airport of Kabul during the month of August 2021. Just after 8 months, the whole scenario here outside the Kabul International Airport has completely changed. There are few flights, particularly very few international flights which come to this international airport. In fact, 2 to 3 flights come daily with the passengers and the travelers from different parts of the world, that also only via United Arab Emirates, because so far not any nation in the world except the United Arab Emirates have air transportation or air link with Afghanistan.
The main reason for lack of flights is that the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan is not yet recognized by most countries, barring Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. A few Middle East countries like Qatar engage in business with them, but that too is very little. The last available data on the Afghan economy is from the Ashraf Wani period. The annual GDP of Afghanistan in 2020 was $20.12 billion and an annual GDP growth forecast in 2020 was minus 2.4%. In the past 2 years, things haven't improved much.
हमारा काम ही बंद है।
अच्छा, बंद है।
बंद है।
आप वीजा दिलवाते थे, फॉर्म वगैरह इंडियन
फॉर्म बन देते थे, ये फोटोकॉपी फोटो ये हम खींचते थे।
अभी आपका काम भी पूरा बंद है।
अभी ये थोड़ा बंद है।
फर्क ये है कि उस वक्त पैसा था, कार था, काम था, लेकिन उस वक्त जुल्म चोरी था कामों में, जुल्म थे, ये बातें ज्यादा। अभी ये वो लोग जो जोर कर रहा है वो नहीं है, अभी आरामी है, सुकून है, बदमाश लोग नहीं है अभी, लेकिन काम नहीं है।
Unemployment and lack of business hurts the Afghan economy the most. It shows everywhere in today's Afghanistan. The Taliban rule of the past 9 months hasn't yet been as dreadful as it was in the 1990s, but the fear is palpable.
कारोबार कम है।
ओ
अच्छा,
अब ठीक है ना, और तालिबान कोई इसके साथ काम नहीं करता,
तंग नहीं करता है।
नहीं।
अच्छा,
अब वो दोनों भी मजे से
हैं।
हाँ।
तो पहले से तो थोड़ा फर्क आया था, जब नया नया तालिबान आए थे तो लोग डरने लगे थे ना पहले से, तो वेडिंग्स कम हो गए थे, लेकिन अभी आम हो गया है, अभी फिर से शुरू हो गया है, हर रात हर दिन वेडिंग्स होता है, और जैसे कि 1500 लोगों की मतलब वेडिंग्स यहाँ पे होती है, और पहले की तरह मतलब कुछ बातें आए, कुछ नए कानून लाए जो तालिबान है, जो मतलब लाइफ नहीं लाते, लाइफ जो मूसिकी होता है ना, लाइफ म्यूजिक नहीं होता है, लाइव म्यूजिक वो नहीं होता, लेकिन डीजे ये सब यूज होता है, अभी भी नॉर्मल है, अभी नॉर्मल है सर।
There are few Afghan women on the streets of Kabul and nearly no one in Western clothes.
फिलहाल उन्होंने तो ऐलान कर दिया कि सब लोग माफ है, जिन्होंने जो भी किया है वो हम पिछला जो भी था हम भूल गए, आगे के लिए सोचते हैं कि कुछ करें अपने मुल्क के लिए, अपने लोगों के लिए। तो ठीक है, जा रहा है, हम भी ये मार्केट में खिदमत दे रहे हैं।
In the past, Afghan women entrepreneurs operated in different sectors of the country. Nearly 72% were engaged in traditional sectors such as handicrafts, food processing and agriculture. The remaining 28% were part of non-traditional sectors like logistics, carpentry, ICT services and business consultancy. According to the Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Afghanistan, women-owned businesses created 47,861 employment opportunities in October 2016, but they are no more visible anywhere in today's nation. As soon as the Taliban came to power in August 2021, women television journalists and other professionals were asked to leave and stay at home.
अफगानिस्तान का कल्चर रहा है, यहाँ पर संगीत का, मौसीकी का, यहाँ की फिल्म्स का, गानों का। अब इस तरह के ड्रामे तो बनते हैं यहाँ पर। ये हम एक होर्डिंग देख रहे हैं काबुल के इस शहर में, जहाँ पर पूरी तरह से आप देख सकते हैं, चाहे लोगों का लिबास हो, चाहे लोगों का दिखावा हो, उसमें महिलाओं की तस्वीर नहीं है, उसमें सिर्फ पुरुष ही नजर आ रहे हैं।
Education of women was also a big problem for the Taliban. As soon as they came to power, rules of restriction for girls and women in educational institutions were put in place. In April 2022, when India Today's team visited Afghanistan, it found that in rural areas, schools are operational till the 6th standard and girls are seated separately. Teachers were not paid beyond the first 3 months of the Taliban taking over.
موشه نگرفتیم دیگه، بعضی از معلمینی که موش برش حواله شده و بعضی معلمین حواله نشده موش برش، یعنی 2 ماه موش 3 ماه شده هیچ موش حواله نشده به حسابش.
Women coming out of university hid their faces as soon as they spotted a camera in Balkh University in Mazar-e-Sharif. More than 400 kilometers from Kabul, in this city, it was impossible for our crews to speak to any woman student. Our crew was lucky in Kabul.
Girls have many problems in this situation. We are not allowed to go to university the way we want to go. Girls are not allowed to wear what they want to wear, where they want to go. Without mahram, there's very hard to be in university or go to shopping anywhere. So it's so hard, difficult. With the proper hijab, we still judged. So it's hard.
We came to university morning, and also the boys come after morning. It means
Afternoon.
Afternoon, yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, and also some kind of dress code. What
Yes,
kind of dress?
about our appearance, we should be like
hijab?
yeah, in hijab and black dresses, long dresses.
Okay.
We
So
don't have
earlier you had not these kind of restrictions in Ashraf Ghani government.
No, we are free in our appearance, in our dresses. We are free, but now we should wear black dresses, and we should be with hijab. If we not be in hijab, we can't enter the university.
The septuagenarian Mehbooba Siraj has seen all the changes that Afghan women have gone through in the past 5 decades. Born to royal lineage, she left Afghanistan with her family in 1978. After 26 years in exile, she returned to her birthplace, Kabul, to help fellow Afghan women. Between the 50s and 70s, Afghan women were educated. They wore Western dresses and were socially mobile. Very little changed in their status even in the 80s under Russian occupation. But the 90s onwards, with the rise of the Taliban, women in Afghanistan gradually started to disappear behind parda and suffocating religious bans. The American war and takeover of Afghanistan from the Taliban started to open the door up again for women. They gradually started to step out, go to schools, work, and even participate in politics.
You know, the fact that we don't have any hopes from you, and the fact that I don't even want to talk to you at all, because the talking time is over. We talked to you, we demanded, we asked, we did everything, and nobody paid any attention. They just made decisions with their gut feelings or whatever. All of these men of the world, that they are in power, and they're destroying something that we worked so hard for. What is happening in Afghanistan today is going to put this country 200 years back.
Till about a year ago, they were making films, designing life, governing their people, contributing to the growth of their country like any other citizen. But as soon as the Taliban advanced towards the capital of Afghanistan, one by one, and then in flocks, they flew away and lived as refugees in different parts of the world. The young sports team of women too were disbanded and left the country, hoping to return one day and don the jersey of Afghanistan. The only sport that thrives in today's Afghan world is cricket.
Last year on 15th of August, Taliban took over Kabul and also formed the government across Afghanistan. There are so many apprehensions, and we are in the Afghanistan. We have seen some of the sectors have got affected after the change of regime in Afghanistan. But one sector which has not got any effect so far is the Afghanistan cricket. Russian attacks in the Ukraine and the Russian-Ukraine war has got lot of things with Afghanistan. In fact, more than 30 years back, when USSR was one of the superpowers across the world, they intruded into the Afghanistan, and this was one of the main bases of USSR, now Russia. In fact, my cameraman can show you those all Russian tanks which were used then by the Russian army against the Afghanistan and the Afghan Mujahideen, which was then led by Ahmad Masood, who was one of the main commanders of Northern Alliance and also of the Panjshir, and he was then fighting with these Russian tanks with the guerrilla warfare.
Reminiscent of the bygone Russian occupation of Afghanistan, these remain a testimony of the past, half a century of Afghan struggle to establish themselves as a sovereign nation. Over most of the last 50 years, this landlocked country has lain waste, used as a battleground for the worst wars of recent times, first as a pawn in the Cold War between superpowers, and then, ironically, as a throwback to conservative religious ideologies of darker times. Bombed, invaded, and devastated, Afghanistan has remained wedged in the conscience of the world. When the Taliban started to advance in 2021 and Kabul had fallen, Panjshir was the last hope.
In fact, this is the Panchi Valley, the lush green trees everywhere, lot of rivers. Panjshir means the valley of fire lines. In fact, that was the importance of this valley here in Afghanistan. Until 2021, no one in the world had captured the Panjshir Valley. In fact, the USSR could not capture the Panjshir Valley because then the famous fighter Ahmad Shah Massoud of Panjshir Valley was against the Russians.
The Lion of Panjshir, Ahmad Shah Massoud's son, Ahmad Massoud, and former Vice President of Afghanistan, Amirullah Saleh, formed the National Resistance Front and fought a guerrilla war with the Taliban. But for the first time in its history, Panjshir was defeated and captured by the Taliban on the 6th of September 2021.
हम अपने अखलाक से इसके साथ जुड़ रहे हैं ना, जब वो ये पठान लोग जान ले कि किस तरह लोग हैं, ये हमसे बहुत नफरत करता है, कसम से बहुत ऐसे गोर गोर के देख रहा है ना, हम अभी इसके साथ अखलाक कर रहे था कि वो हमें अच्छी तरह जान ले कि हम किस तरह लोग हैं,
तो अखलाक से ही इनका दिल जीतेगा,
हाँ
इंशाल्लाह.
The Taliban guarding this country carry arms and ammunition left by the Americans. They proudly flaunt them.
There is definitely the change after the takeover of Taliban here in Afghanistan within the Bagram Air Base. Only the helicopters of the US had been kept there. Some of them are being renovated. What we got from the sources, airstrip of the built by the US troops here inside the Bagram Air Base is active. It is being used by the Taliban fighters, but most of the infrastructure which was created by the Americans had been already destroyed in the Bagram Air Base.
When the last US flight left this airport, Afghanistan ceased to exist. From its shadows emerged the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, where a parliament building is redundant.
Security team from the Taliban are here. They said the other group were there and sat there in that chair.
Nearly 200 Sikh families lived in Afghanistan till August-September of 2021. Now only 20 are left. Karte Pavan Gurdwara in Kabul wears a deserted look.
The thing is that so far there is not now fear is coming out from these Sikh families here. They are not being behaved badly by the Taliban. In fact, we have seen the security of Taliban people outside this Gurdwara, and same has been provided to some of the other Gurdwaras all across the Afghanistan.
The health sector of Afghanistan misses Indian medical staff. All of them left as soon as the Taliban came to power.
डॉक्टर बजाज दिन में 300 मरीज देखते थे, दिन में 300, सिर्फ डॉक्टर बजाज और डॉक्टर को तो जान दिए. आज सारे दिन में 50 मरीज भी नहीं, 50 क्या 40 मरीज भी नहीं आते.
I obviously think that if you don't help the people of Afghanistan, you will have a problem, because these people will be either disappointed, sad and angry, or there will be hunger, or they will all start fleeing the country and moving to Western countries. So you're better off helping them, yes, of course.
A series of blasts rocked Afghanistan in April 2022. A ruthless Islamic State affiliate known as the Islamic State in Khorasan province, or ISIS-K, took responsibility. They've been growing in Afghanistan's eastern backyard since 2014. In today's Afghanistan, the Islamic State present the greatest security challenge to the new Taliban rulers. The Taliban so far has responded with their characteristic heavy hand, sweeping through suspected Islamic State strongholds, claiming to have shut down scores of so-called safe houses, including several in the capital Kabul. In October and November of 2021, in Islamic State strongholds in eastern Nangarhar province, residents reported bodies hanging from trees. They were told they were Islamic State. This beautiful country, known for its hospitality and rich culture, is a captive of hardship and tussle between the past and present, between growth and religious rigidity, between terror and the rule of terror. Much like the mountains that surround Kabul, with Afghanistan written on them, people of this land do await to rise above the poverty and oppression. They look forward to peace. Caught between different terror organizations, they've been forced to hold the hand of the Taliban, and they patiently wait for things to turn around.
लेकिन वो जो अब क्योंकि हम क्रिटिकल सिचुएशन में रहे थे, इसके लिए तो थोड़ा वक्त चाहिए, इसके लिए इकोनॉमिक्स बनाने के लिए और थोड़ा प्रोग्राम्स रन देने के लिए, तो इसलिए अभी तक तो हम उससे शुक्रगुजार हैं, लेकिन इतना काफ़ी नहीं, बहुत ज़्यादा काम करना चाहिए और इसके लिए और लोगों की मदद भी उनको लेनी चाहिए.